Hello, I am Baal Kadmon, and I would like to thank you for watching and or listening to this video. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Holidays, whatever you celebrate. If you don't celebrate at all, I hope you're having a wonderful time, a good beginning of winter. In this video, I just want to discuss a few things. Some people have noticed that over the last 5 or 6 months, I've been sort of remote a little bit. Now, I've been still working on projects and everything, and as some of you know, actually my course on Pazuzu is out. You can get it at occultcourses.com/Pazuzu. And I just want to explain why I've been sort of remote a little bit on social media. But before I do, I just want to say, yes, my Instagram account is currently deactivated, not because of what I'm about to tell you, but just because I was having some type of weird technical issue. And I never put it back on to see if it has resolved, but I'll be doing that shortly. But just so you know, I didn't block anyone. I didn't delete it. I was just having a technical issue. Hopefully it's resolved. So over the last 5 months or so, 5 or 6 months, I've been going through a really hard time. Probably one of the hardest times I've ever been through. And some of you might know that during the summer, I went on a cruise, right? A 2-week cruise to like Norway and Sweden and all of those places. So while I was on the cruise, people were starting to get sick, which is not uncommon, right? On cruises, people get sick, they get colds, they get all sorts of shit, right? So I was no exception. And other people who came with me, it was no exception either. Some of them got sick, head colds, this and that. So I got a head cold, right? I had a head cold. My nose was clogged up. My ears were clogged up. And I didn't think anything of it. It was not COVID. It was, I was like, all right, this is nothing, right? And I wasn't the only one. So clearly this was just something that was going around. So as the trip was coming to an end, obviously the cold was sort of ramping up a little bit. And again, nothing that I was concerned about. But I did notice that I had a little bit of vertigo from it, but I wasn't sure if it was just my ears. And because, I was on a boat for 2 weeks, I haven't been on a boat for that long. So I was like, all right, this vertigo could be coming from that, right? It all made sense. So finally, as I was landing back and from the trip, as we were landing, my ears, both ears, started to hurt so badly. I mean, I've never had that much pain in my ears in my life. There was no blood or anything like that, but it hurt so bad that for like 4 or 5 hours after that, my hearing was muffled. Like I was like, I can't, something's going on with the hearing, but it resolved. But, I still had this sinus infection and this ear thing going on. And I noticed that I was starting to get like lightheaded. So I said, all right, let me just go to an urgent care. I was like, this is probably not something a doctor needs to deal with, just urgent care. They'll give me antibiotics, something. So that's what they did. They gave me antibiotics. They gave me prednisone to reduce any inflammation. They said my sinuses were all inflamed. My ears had water in them. So I was like, all right, good. I'm on the path to resolution. So at first it seems to work, right? It seems to work. And I'm like, all right, I'm getting over this. I'm getting on the other side of this. And then a few days after the medication had worn off and everything, the vertigo came back and the lightheadedness came back. And I was like, what is going on here? Right. So now I can't work out anymore. I can't do anything because I sort of can only sit in front of the computer and do, my work, the writing and the construction and the courses and everything. Thank God I could at least do that. But even sometimes when I would move my eyes, I would get like this vertigo. So I went to all these specialists, everyone, cardiac, neurology. I mean, I was suffering for 5.5 months with this. to the point where I got really depressed. I couldn't work out. I couldn't bend over, couldn't look up, I mean, I was essentially, the fact that I could do anything, I was surprised that I could do anything. Let's put it that way. I did manage to, at least live somewhat of a normal life. But I was getting really depressed. And to the point where, to be honest, I was actually making up my will. I'm actually getting emotional thinking about it because I was like, no one can tell me what this is, no one. But luckily I did get a clean bill of health. Otherwise, I do have a little bit of high cholesterol and a little bit of high blood pressure. Well, because one, I haven't been working out. I gained like 20 pounds because I couldn't do anything. You know what I mean? So it's like, it all sort of compounded. And so finally, as I was hitting my wit's end, someone dear to me found the specialists in New Jersey for, vestibular type of issues, So I'm like, all right, what the hell? It's quite a ways from where I am. So I was like, all right, let me get to do this. I'm thinking, what are they going to do? They're going to see me, give me a bunch of scripts, go get a bunch of tests and go. Well, it didn't turn out quite like that. I ended up being in that office for almost 5 hours, taking all of these vestibular tests. And of course, they are very unpleasant. They need to evoke the vertigo, and sometimes they evoked it so badly that I didn't know if I could continue because I was like, oh my God. And I actually, to be honest, I actually cried during one of them. It was so bad. So finally, after hooking me up to all of these things, a brain thing, all sorts of stuff they were doing, they found out that I had something called vestibular neuritis on my left ear. And that made sense because the left side was always the worst when it came to my dizziness and all this stuff. And vestibular neuritis is caused by, if let's say you had a cold, or maybe even COVID I had in February, or any type of viral infection, what happens is that in some cases the virus settles in the vestibular nerve. I don't think they really know why, but it's always caused by being sick either currently or in the past. So it's possible that whatever I got on the cruise, that virus settled in my vestibular nerve. So I finally got a diagnosis for that. And there is no cure for it. There's only PT. You take like these special PT sessions, which I do twice a week now at 7 a.m, which is great for me because I can go there, get it done, come back, and I still have my whole day. But even so, I was noticing that there was still something wrong, like something going on with my eyes, right? I was like, all right, I get the vestibular neuritis, that's some of the symptoms, but now something's going on with my eyes. So I'm like, oh, I can't be fucking around with that because, I do things with my eyes. I have to have them. So looking at the screen was causing me problems. So I got all these things. I put, UV stuff, everything. Of course, you can't see through those things. So, and I'm trying all sorts of things. I even put like these yellow tints on my glasses, which looked ridiculous, but I did it anyway. It didn't seem to help. So then I went to another specialist, and it turns out that I have also binocular vision dysfunction, which I probably had for a long time, is where the two eyes aren't focused the same way. Like you may not notice it when you're looking straight, but when they take certain tests, they can see, all right, the eyes aren't actually looking at the same thing. And so not only did I have the vestibular neuritis, but also my eyes are not looking in the same place. And so that causes dizziness too. And he was able, the doctor was able to diagnose this very easily because he says, all right, walk down this hall that has obnoxiously bright light. And that would trigger some of this vertigo with me for the last 6 months, right? Like if I would walk into a supermarket, I would be like, oh shit, this light is like killing me. So as I'm walking, he sees that I'm sort of listing to one side. I have my hands sort of on my side, like as if I'm trying to balance myself. And he says, all right, well, clearly you have something's going on here. So after about 3 hours of testing, yes, another long time, he put on these glasses that I guess they use in this profession, and all of these lenses on them that sort of create like a prism of some sort. He said, all right, put these on now and walk through that hall. And I walked through the hall back and forth perfectly. No balance issues, not photosensitive. I walked quickly, didn't list to one side. And he says, there you have it. And I was like, oh, my goodness. So the good news is that both of these conditions can be resolved. The bad news is that it destroyed me for 5.5 months. Like I said, the only thing that kept me going was the fact that I was able to still write. I was able to still record. I was able to still produce the courses that some of you, or a lot of you, love. And I was so thankful for that. But that's why I've been sort of quiet. Not that I was always very out there anyway, but I've been quiet. I've been hard to respond to emails. And it's not because I don't want to. It's because I was just absolutely crushed by this the last 5.5 months. And, it's just, it made me even appreciate things more, knowing that, at any moment, something can be taken away from you. And in my case, thankfully, I can get it back, and it is coming back. But I grew really appreciative of all the spirits that I work with, because I got a lot of solace from them saying, listen, this is just a process you have to go through. But you know what it did? That I think the reason why I had to go through this, and this is how these spirits work with you, is that it forced me to make changes I didn't want to make in my life. It basically said, okay, now you have to stop this. Or this or that, whatever it was, right? Now you have to start thinking about being serious about this, and that's exactly what happened. I had to be pushed against the wall because you know how it is, when you have to do something, but you don't want to do it. You think, oh, I'll be fine. It'll be fine. Everything will resolve itself. But sometimes it doesn't, right? Sometimes you have to do something, right? And I tend to be, not that I'm not action-oriented, I am, but I tend to be on the let things flow sort of naturally type of vibe. That's my vibe. I hate to use that term, but that's a good term for it. But this time, that vibe does not work. It does not work for the changes that I needed to make. And so I was forced to make them. And that was when all of a sudden the doors opened to all of these other professionals that could now remedy the situation. So, but during it, I was like, where the hell are my spirits? I've been doing these fucking rituals, healing. Where are they? Where the fuck are they? And then when I started making the changes that I wanted to make, but I, for whatever reason, did not, then all of a sudden, ooh, I found this doctor and I found this doctor, and holy shit, they were the answer. And so I got the answers to all my rituals, but in a way that I didn't expect, but actually in a way that turned out to be better than it would have been otherwise. And of course, during it, I was not thinking this. I was not thinking this at all. Well, anyway, so I just wanted to put that out there just to inform people that that's what has been happening, and that's why I've been sort of a little remote, and because this destroyed me. I mean, this took me down in ways that I just didn't imagine. I mean, imagine being, having vertigo every day and lightheadedness. You can't look a certain way because the light's too bright. It's too dim. It's too, you know what I mean? And you go to bed, you turn over for just 1 second and your head is spinning. You know what I mean? So, yeah. So I'm happy I'm getting back there, but I have a lot of work to do, like, because of the 5-6 months of being fairly inactive, I have to get back on, eating healthy. I have to get back on working out. And I got so used to being sedentary, more so than I usually am. So I have to snap out of it, so I still have a process, a long way to go, but I'm getting there now. So anyway, that's it. I just wanted to put this out there so you knew what was going on. And, I hope you guys have a great holiday season and a happy new year. I have been working on a lot of stuff. You can go to occultcourses.com. You'll see what's going on over there. And thank you so much for your support. I'm always so grateful for that. And that's about it. I will I might have one more podcast after this in a series that I'm creating. But otherwise, if I don't speak to you through that one, I will see you on the new year. So mote it be.